Welcome to today's video. It's going to be about ball joints, wheel bearings. See, I've taken the brake caliper off, rotor off so far. My ball joint press is showing up any minute, but you gotta take care of all this stuff first. So here's our wheel bearing. Wheel bearings are both going to get replaced. Take your little cotter pin out like this, and then you got this castle nut here. For this castle nut, I'm going to use a big adjustable wrench. This is like a 1 in 11/16 or so, and it's torqued down to 260 foot-pounds. I've got the four-wheel drive engaged to hold this steady, and then I'm just going to absolutely crank on it to get it off. You have to do this to change the wheel bearing. If you're not going to change the wheel bearing, you're just going to do ball joints, you can leave that on and just press the whole wheel bearing out without having to remove the castle nut. It'll just bring the axle with it. You're called. It depends on what you're trying to do. Alright, sorry for the terrible lighting. I don't know why the camera won't pick this up, but I busted this castle nut loose, and I mean, I do squats at the gym 5 days a week, and that came in absolute handy there. Basically, I was about maxed out cranking this thing off, but it's loose now, so we've got, we can move on to the next step, which would be pushing this thing off. And that's going to be another thing that could be seized up, but let me show you a little trick. We got 4 18mm bolts on the back of the wheel bearing. They're torqued down to about, I think it's about 160, 150 foot-pounds. And I've got a breaker bar socket extension and a big deep socket on here for max leverage. First one I had to tap with a hammer, and these two look like they're moving. Also, PB Blaster is your friend. I use PB Blaster for the castle nut. I'm using it for this. We'll see if we can. I doubt I'll be able to pull this off by hand, but if I need to use the power steering to do it, I think I can figure out a way. Even though I'm by myself, I think I can leave at least one of these bolts partly threaded in, and just put a deep socket on that bolt, and then let the power steering push it off part way, and then I can just tap it off the rest of the way myself. So that's the plan right now. I'll check in with you in just a second. Alright, here you can see the wheel bearing bolt kind of sticking out there. What I'm doing is I'm backing it off until it's just flush with the wheel bearing. That's about, you know, yay long. That's all the further I'm backing it out. And we'll see if we can just get this started to press out. You can see I've got that 18mm deep socket and a socket extension kind of wedged in here, up on here. And I'm going to fire the truck up and turn the wheel to the right and see if we can get this to just push off. You know, even a couple millimeters would be a big deal. Well, the lighting is so bad, I wanted to show it getting pushed off, but maybe we'll do the other side. Anyways, here we go. Okay. Oh yeah! Check it out. Pushed right off. Right, here's our first part inspection. I had to do a couple tries with the power steering to get this thing off. Even with having it started, didn't come off the first time. Had to get a little creative with just putting a socket extension here. It's got a little bit bent, but oh well. This will be, it'll still work. 88,000 miles on this Moog wheel bearing. It's okay as far as performance. I don't think it had any play in it, but I thought it had a lot of resistance, like it wasn't well lubricated. But now that I have it off, it feels okay. I think I might even have my brake pad a little bit sticky. That may have been what I felt as far as resistance. But my brake pads look okay. It's just it was a little tight on the rotor. That's why I say that. Anyways, one of the hardest parts is now done. Alright, here we are. I pulled the axle out to give myself room in here. Lower ball joint stud is out, as you can see right there. The nut was bigger than anything I had, so I actually used these to take out the top one. This one to loosen the bottom. You can see the bottom still on here. That's because I haven't knocked the knuckle off. I'm gonna give this pickle fork a couple taps and knock the knuckle down. I've got the tie rod end loose here, but I don't think it's actually going to be necessary to take that off. I think I should be able to slide the knuckle to the side. And then finally, we're going to be down to the ball joints. I did have to pull the tie rod end off, and I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to move like that. I haven't noticed any issues in my steering, but, well, might be doing tie rod soon. Here's an update. So things have been rough. I've got the knuckle free finally. It was seized on the lower ball joint. Now these lower ball joints could possibly be original. They're non-greasable. They could be Mopar original ball joints. Let me show you the pickle fork. It is stretched out wider than it was. It used to be straight. Now it's wide, and it's dinged up. So the pickle fork took one for the team, and now we're gonna just get this off and get these ball joints pressed out quickly. All right, here's this massive ball joint press. This is the one for Jeep and Dodge solid front axles that won't break when you use it. And here's the big kit. This was expensive. This is about 360 bucks on Amazon. Just gotta find a cup that's bigger than the knuckle, or than the C area, and that will let you just push the ball joint into it. These are long enough that they'll fit ball joints from these trucks. Some ball joint kits, they're too short. You can't push it out all the way. With this, there should be no problem. All right, yes, definite word of warning here. This is a physical job. Working on the lower ball joint, the old one. Breaker bar. It's coming. That's why you need these good ball joint presses. Now sometimes you can tap the side here, see if it'll pop. Oh, shoot. But that shouldn't be necessary with this good of a ball joint press. It's almost out. My back, my legs, my knees, they're all gonna hurt after this. Oh, very close. Very close. In fact, I may even be able to take this little socket and push it off. I think it's out. Let's see. I put a little WD-40 on the C-clamp threads here. Try to give it a little bit of lubricity. Yes, the ball joint's out, so sit tight for just a second, and I'm going to show you this ball joint and see if we can identify what it was and the kind of condition it's in. Okay, just a sec. It's stuck in the little thing. So I'm gonna try and tap it out. Okay, so you can see the boot's blown apart, but that was from me jamming the pickle fork in there. And you can see it's got some wiggle. My new ball joints aren't like that. But no brand or anything on here. I've never changed the lowers. I've owned the truck for 160,000 miles now, and this could be original. Looks like there was a part number on there. 635 are the last 3 digits. That's worth an investigation. But if this is a Mopar one, it's got 327,000 miles. Well, we're going to do the same thing, remove the upper. Same process as you just saw. This is a Moog up here. It's got a little bit of play in it, I can tell. Not a lot, though. It's got 125,000 miles on this one. This has been replaced before. This is only 3 years old. So, that's what the next step's going to be. And then I'll catch up with you when I'm about to put the new ones in. The new ones are over in the freezer. I'll bring them out when I'm ready. All right. Okay, real quick before I press these in, anti-seize. In there they go. Also, you want to put them around the outside of your ball joints. This is the old upper. This is a Moog ball joint. It's in okay shape. It's got 125,000 miles on it. And it's going to be replaced with XRF. That's the lower. Here's the upper. The lower is knurled. Let me show you what that means. I just pulled these out of the freezer, so I want to get them in before they warm up. Knurled. See those lines there? Knurled will bore out your knuckle. Once you switch to knurled, stick with knurled, because you'll need them for a tight fit. Alright, here we are, both ball joints pushed in. This has taken me all day, pretty much, just to get to this point. You know, not all day, but like two and a half hours at this point. I'm still not done with my first set of ball joints. Probably not going to finish the job today. Hopefully I can just get this side reassembled and take the truck out for a spin. Snap ring is just not going on. There is a groove there for it to fit in, but I cannot get that dang thing on there. I'm doing research right now to figure out if I really need that thing or what. But I really want to get this thing back together. Okay, here we are. The knuckles on. That was tough. We got anti-seize. The axle is in. And now for a Timken wheel bearing to go on. Here we are on the test drive. For like 35-mile loop. Everything's good. That driver's side ended up taking me about a little over 4 hours to get that driver's side done. That's way longer than I thought. I figured I'd have both sides done in that time. But with so many setbacks, so many things gave us trouble that, you know, it just couldn't get it done that fast. So with the driver's side feeling good, you know, I'll be able to do my daily driving tomorrow and whenever I get to the other side, I'll get to it and I'll try and film a little bit there and, you know, show you what those old parts look like too. You know, I'm really kind of impressed that Moog upper ball joint was actually half decent at 125,000 miles. That's my biggest thing that I'm impressed about so far. All right, y'all. I'll catch up with you